Imagine your own mother selling you to a random man for $15,000 and then you end up dead 6 weeks later. Well, that's what happened to this young girl. Rukia Hadari was only 21 years old when her throat was slit by her new husband after she refused to clean and cook for him. Her mother ended up going to prison for a short amount of time because she was the one that forced them to get married, but she still says that she did nothing wrong, and if she knew that her husband was going to kill her, then she would have never forced the marriage. And this wasn't the first time that Rukia was forced into marriage. When she was 15, she was also married off to a man and they got a divorce 2 years later. What's so sad is that this young woman just wanted to live a normal life. She wanted to go to school, get her degree, and become a nurse, but her mother had other plans. If you guys want to learn all the details about the story, make sure to head over to my YouTube channel. I uploaded the full story there.
So you done effed around too close to the sun, my boy. Here are some signs an antler warrior's about to put you under, and may God help you if you ever need any of this. This right here is where you been should have hit the double dash. If a moose shows you the whites of his eye, actually, if you could see the whites of his eyes, you're entirely too close to death. But yeah, anytime a moose shows you the whites of his eyes, he's telling you to fall back, or the next white you finna see is a cul-de-sac in the clouds. It's a lot like the whale eye things dogs do before they snap. Either way, you see this, you adjust accordingly. It's probably common knowledge, but if a moose dips his head and shows you his antlers, he's basically telling you, yo, I got it on me, and you better have it in you if you don't get fo. I'm not saying pause, because pausing in this situation could actually get you smoked twice like 2 packs. Now that's no diddy. If a moose is ever eating and suddenly stops and stares in your direction, yeah, you got his attention. Please give it back. Also, you don't want to be like this guy and get loud with a moose, especially a bull. This ain't a bear, remember. With predators, you gotta convince them you're worth the effort, but with a grass-fueled war machine, getting loud is giving them a reason to kick your knees in. And I was gonna say don't press a mother moose in her cap, but honestly, the earth is crowded. If you want to naturally select yourself as tribute to Darwin, that's a way to do it. Just know mama moose might play hopscotch on your spine. If a moose stares at you and urinates, you're in a lot of trouble. No, seriously, you're gonna be a hashtag. If a moose smacks his lips at you, if a moose throws his head back like a horse, if a moose breathes, matter of fact, if a moose mooses, don't question, don't ask it, leave on your feet or leave in a casket. Nah, but for real, if the ears are pinned back, that's like the universal red flag of finding out. Oh, and last thing, if a moose stares at you and there's a body of water between y'all and you think you're safe, survey says the moosaya laughs at your assumptions, the more you know.
Whatever you see first reveals who you are. Up first is this picture. If you saw the trees and the reflection of them in the pond, it means you constantly overthink your life and stress about your future. But you're also very motivated and want to be successful. But if you saw the woman walking out of the pond first, it means that you sometimes feel lonely and trapped in your own life. But you're also a very thoughtful person and tend to put people above yourself. Next up is this picture. If you saw the woman releasing the balloons, this means you know a lot of people, but only a couple are considered friends. This makes you feel extremely lonely and never want to do anything. But if you saw the blue sky in the clouds first, it means that sky blue is one of your favorite colors. And no matter how hard life gets, you always find a way to come out on top.
This is the scary story about the bath. Elizabeth was sitting at her desk in her room. She was finishing off her homework when she suddenly got a text off a number she didn't recognise. The text message said, "Take a bath and go to bed, it's a school night, Mom." Elizabeth thought her mom's phone died and used someone else's phone to text her. She already planned on taking a bath, so she got undressed and grabbed her towel and walked into the bathroom. But then she stopped. She was surprised that the bath was already filled. "I guess my mom filled it in advance," she said. She then shrugged her shoulders and got in. When she got in the bathtub, she became aware of a burning sensation all over her body, which progressively got worse and worse the longer she stayed in the bath, to the point where she started crying. Then she got out. Like and follow for part 2.
Horror movie villains based on real people.
Honey, don't you love me and you know it makes me sad?
Just a cigarette like you always used to do.
I was different then, I don't need them to be cool.
Terrifying signs that you won't believe actually exist. Part 3. Sharks sighted today. Enter water at own risk. Dangerous sinkhole, unstable ground. If you are reading this, you are too close. Leave this area immediately. Stop. Prevent your death. Go no further. There's nothing in this cave worth dying for. Do not go beyond this point. Warning. If warning siren sounds, immediately leave area. Go uphill 200 steps. Danger. People have been seriously hurt or killed in this area. Extreme caution should be observed at all times. Watch for snakes. They're watching you. Dismount now. Do not ride over the next rock. 200-foot cliff. Riders have died here. Riders just like you.
However bad you thought the damage was from Hurricane Helene, it's probably worse. At least 64 people have tragically passed away, thousands have been left homeless, about 3.5 million have been left without power, with people in Georgia only expected to get it back on the 5th of October. Oh, and insurance companies are cooked, because the Financial Times report that property damage alone is up to 26 billion. Eerie end-of-days looking footage shows boats lining the streets while cars line the beaches. Bridges have collapsed, docks were destroyed, dams were at their breaking point, there were massive landslides, Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't even drink his beer. And in Asheville, North Carolina, experts called it a 1-in-1,000-year event. Their French Broad River hasn't been this full since 1916, over 100 years ago. Oh, and it's not just the water you have to worry about, because the batteries in electric vehicles being submerged in salt water are releasing hydrogen gas and heat, which is resulting in fires. Helene is now turned into a post-tropical cyclone and is expected to continue to cause intense flooding through to Sunday.
This is why you shouldn't explore abandoned places. An urban exploration YouTube channel by the name Urbix Hill went to explore the 13-year-old abandoned Robert Fulton School in Cleveland, Ohio. Immediately as he enters the decaying school, he doesn't notice, but what looks like a person can be seen watching him from the end of the hallway. But knowing someone could be stalking him, he continues exploring. But it wasn't until Urbix Hill goes up to the 3rd floor and finds a 40-down room that he would come face to face with the stalker.
I think somebody's in there. What the fuck? Somebody's been living in here.
Don't ever try this. To summon a guardian angel who will grant your deepest wishes, first draw this symbol on your hand. Now draw a line and a loop around your wrist like handcuffs. Now make your hand into a fist and dip it in a bowl of water. Now take out your hand and place it over your eyes. Now move your hand and open your eyes, and your guardian angel will appear before you to grant you any wish. But be careful, as some can't handle what they see when they open their eyes. Are you brave enough to try this? Then heart this video and follow my account.
This teenager killed his mom over a bad grade. This is 15-year-old Gregory Ramos. And on November 2nd, 2018, Gregory Ramos got into a fight with his mother, Gail Clevenger. The fight started over his bad school grades, which resulted in him strangling his own mother to death. Gregory then proceeded to call 2 of his friends to help him bury her body and stage a robbery at his house. Gregory buried her body under a church fire pit and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Now, what I'm about to show you is Gregory explaining exactly how he committed the murder, and it's absolutely disturbing, because keep in mind, this was his own mother.
It's whatever. Alright, I'll tell you what happened. Alright, so I got home, I got in an argument with my mom, she slapped me across the face, she began to hit me, she started beating me, I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death. Alright? I put her in a wheelbarrow, I put her in my car, I took the car, I had a mental breakdown where I almost committed suicide 3 times. I drove around Daytona, I dropped the wheelbarrow in some random ass location, and I drove back to the church, I began to dig a hole. I dig a hole right under the fucking fire pit. I dug a pretty deep hole, pretty deep, deep enough to put a bit of body in, alright? All this time my mom's decomposing body, I dragged it from my car to the fire pit. In which case, I tried to cut the wedding ring off her finger because I wanted to pawn it, but I couldn't because I have a knife strong enough to cut bones. Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, so I dug that hole, threw her body in there, filled it back in, made it look all nice and natural, dumped my clothes, and then I went home.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 21. Scientists claim that the research they have done shows that 1% of society meets the criteria to be a psychopath. That means 1 in every 100 people you meet will be a psychopath. It was said a long time ago that boiled toads would help cure rheumatism, which is arthritis, and that feeding rotted mice to children would help with their bedwetting problems. Have I wet my bed before? Moving on. Oh yeah, this is just a fact to remind you that there is a brain-eating amoeba out there that if you get water through your nose or in your ears, that it could possibly, eat your brain. At an abandoned wildlife park in Australia, there is a fully preserved shark found still in the tank filled with murky waters. Oh my gosh.
Disturbing facts you wish you never knew. You have tiny skin mites that come out at night and do the thing on your face. A 10-second kiss on the lips can pass on 80 million bacteria, some unknown to scientists. Good thing you don't have to worry about that. Certain kinds of tumor called teratoma can cause your body to grow teeth and hair around it. When Eskimo babies have colds, their mother sucks the snot out of their nose with their mouth. Yummy. People who stay up at night are more likely to become psychopaths compared to those who sleep early. So please go to sleep now.
Yo, what's up? These are scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 24. This one's pretty strange, but there is a very rare disease known as dactylolysis spontanea where a person's toe randomly falls off for no apparent reasons. In fact, doctors can't even explain why this happens. The picture above shows a suit known as a Siberian bear hunting suit in which people or hunters can go looking for bears, and if the bear tries to attack or claw them, they will be protected by the spikes on their suit and it will stab the bear. The picture above shows the head of a decapitated nun known as Maria Rosenthal, who was the first ever nun to be possessed. In fact, they kept this head pretty well preserved. There was actually a life-size Jason Voorhees statue found in the bottom of Minnesota Lake, and knowing the year 2020 like we do, I wouldn't be surprised if this statue came to life.
She disappeared while waiting for an ice cream truck. This is 11-year-old Mikkel Biggs, and she was from Mesa, Arizona. She was described as very bright and considered a gifted student. Mikkel was well educated on the concept of stranger danger and wasn't someone to be easily tricked. On January 2nd of 1999, around 5:30 p.m., Mikkel thought she heard an ice cream truck nearby, so she begged her mom for some money. Mikkel and her younger sister Kimber ran outside holding their 2 quarters. Kimber brought the family dog with them, and Mikkel had jumped onto Kimber's brand new pink and purple bicycle. As they made their way to the corner of the street, they were joined by other children from the neighborhood who also thought they heard the music from the ice cream truck. After a few minutes, some of the kids started to get restless since there was no sign of the ice cream truck. Around 5:50 p.m., Kimber told Mikkel she didn't want to wait any longer. It was getting dark and the temperature was now 60 degrees. Mikkel was determined to get that popsicle, so while her sister went back to the home, she stayed out there. Their mother noticed that Kimber came by herself, so she demanded that she went out there to go get her sister. Kimber grabbed her jacket, and as she was walking towards the corner that they were at, she was gone for maybe 90 seconds. Mikkel was gone. Kimber noticed that her brand new bike was on the ground with the wheels still spinning, so it made it seem that Mikkel had been riding it and just jumped off. She also noticed that Mikkel's 2 quarters were on the ground near the bike. At this point, Kimber was frightened, so she ran back home and told her mom that she could not find Mikkel. Around 6:15, their mother called 911 and reported Mikkel as missing. Police responded almost immediately, and from the start, they realized that they were most likely dealing with an abduction. It appeared that Mikkel was riding her bike back home when she was snatched off of it. Police and volunteers conducted a search around the area until 2 a.m. Unfortunately, they were only able to track her scent around the bicycle, so they came up with the idea that most likely she was abducted in a vehicle. Investigators contacted every ice cream truck in the area to see if they were in Mikkel's neighborhood, and none of them were. Police continued to search the area. They searched garbage cans, dumpsters, sheds, and they could not find Mikkel anywhere. Mikkel's case is still considered active and unsolved. Her parents are still hoping to learn what had happened to her so they can bring her home and give her a proper burial.
Pilot's last words before crash. Flight 302-2019. Pitch up, pitch up. Flight 507-207. Go up. Flight 409-210. We're finished, God have mercy on us. Flight 447-209. But what's happening? Flight 2605-1979. Oh Jesus Christ, get it up, Charlie. Flight 177-11987. I'm the problem.
Here are my most anticipated horror movies releasing in October. Up first is Terrifier 3, releasing October 11th. It was shown last week at Fantastic Fest, and everybody that I know that has seen the movie said it was absolutely insane. And this movie takes Art the Clown from a normal slasher all the way up to that top peak list of horror movie icons. I was also told that the first 5 minutes absolutely topped the bedroom scene from Terrifier 2, which genuinely has me excited. You then have Smile 2, releasing October 18th. I was a big fan of the first one, didn't really care for the ending, but I think this one could be great because of the fact that it's based on a musical icon who's on tour when all of a sudden this smile curse starts coming around everywhere, and she's more or less spreading it to her fans. I think that the premise is really cool. I just hope they do it right. Up next is The Platform 2. If you haven't seen the first Platform, you're definitely missing out. It's more or less about a prison system that moves. Some people start at the top, others start at the bottom, others in the middle. Every single day it changes. And depending on what level you're on, depends on when you eat. If you're all the way at the top, of course you get first dibs. But if you're at the bottom, there's probably going to be no food left for you. People go from platform to platform, people get unalived all the time, and I think number 2 might even be able to top number 1. And finally, you have Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, from the same creators that made Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. And this movie's based on the dark theory behind Peter Pan, where he is not the good guy. He's more or less unaliving these people before they become adults, to keep them kids forever. And supposedly, Captain Hook is supposed to be the main antagonist, where he's the good guy, which is supposed to be the original story of Peter Pan, at least based on that dark theory. Comment down below what movies you guys are excited for this month, and follow for more.
This is one of the most haunted places in the United Kingdom, Pendle Hill. In the 1600s, a group of women who were living in this area were accused of being witches. And after an extremely unfair trial and being held in a dungeon for months, they were executed. The story of the Pendle Witches is infamous, and it actually predates the Salem witch trials. But Pendle Hill is like a paranormal magnet of its own. People have seen everything out here, from demon dogs to shapeshifters, and even aliens and UFOs in the sky. It's rumored that Pendle Hill is one of the most dangerous places to visit after dark due to the high levels of paranormal activity. One specific story from the area that's pretty creepy is that of a headless ghost. Yes, the spirit of a headless woman is seen walking one of these roads at night, and the story goes that she was a local nanny, and multiple children in her care died, so the locals took it upon themselves to take care of the problem and chopped her head off. The story of the Pendle Witches is infamous worldwide, and their presence can still be felt today. The full video of our investigation is on my channel now.
Top 5 of the scariest videos I found online. I bet you can't make it to the end of the video. The last one is scary. Number 5. 3 friends were playing guitar and singing in their room. You know, just having a good time. When something scary appears in the balcony door window. You could see a white figure appear quickly and disappear once the camera pans back.
¿Qué tal, hermana? ¿Qué pongo?
Woo! Spicy. Hey, maybe you just like the music. Wanted to do a little dance. Get a little boogie. Get it? Boogie, boo, please don't unfollow me. Before we get to the next one, can you hit that like button for me? If you get 100,000 hearts, I'll do a part 3. Number 4, a man wakes up to hearing strange noises in his house. When he goes to turn on the lights to see what it is, they seem to not be working. Watch what he sees next. Tired of these ghosts messing with electricity when they do not pay bills. Do you know how much an electric bill is right now? Pay up or get out. Okay, check this out. You're alone in the middle of the night and you're in a hotel when this happens. What's your next move? Let me know down below. Number 3, on the 30th of April, 2022 at 2 a.m., a security camera captured this. Some believe it's a creature dragging a bag, while others believe it's someone walking backwards. A short while after, the security camera catches this. It's the same figure. What do you think this creature is? Number 2, the little girl is in the kitchen alone, and it looks like she's talking to someone. The home security camera captures this. So now they're not paying bills and trying to take our food? This is the last straw. Hello, Ghostbusters. A woman and her child is seeing something in the window, but every time she goes to open it, nothing appears to be there. Watch what happens next. Yeah, it got in the house, and they didn't even realize. Should I do a part 3?